What's up, y'all? Erroneous here, back with another Raid Shadow Legends video. I'm going to be going over the Monday news as well as the buffs to Coronar and what I believe caused him to be so busted now. So let's get into it. Alright, so first I want to quickly go over the Coronar's kit. I'm going to make this as quick as possible because I know many of you probably already watched a ton of other videos from content creators going over Coronar's kit, but I want to give my piece about it and why he's going to be broken now in most areas of the game. So yeah, let's start with the A1. Before he had an attack all enemies, 50% chance to decrease each target's turn meter. Now it goes to attack all enemies, 50% chance to decrease each target's turn meter by 10%. Instead of 5%. And then additionally from before, attacks all enemies 2 times instead of 1, and a chance of decreasing each target's turn meter increases to 100% if Manaya is on the same team. The damage of each hit will be decreased by 50%. He still hit fairly hard with this ability. It wasn't that weak. So let's see what they changed it to. If Manaya is on the same team, attacks all enemies 2 times, and the chance of decreasing each target's turn meter becomes 100% instead. The damage of each hit will be decreased by 50, and they increase the multipliers. So why does that make him busted? Well, in Arena, that makes him extremely powerful now as a potential damage dealer option because he's void affinity and he can hit fairly hard. When you're going into places of PvE where you're facing off against Manaya and Coronar, he's going to be a lot more challenging to fight against, and he's going to be more ridiculous in that sense, right? So if you think that he's really strong now and annoying, yeah, now with this buff, he's going to have more damage, so it's going to be more difficult to be able to kill him because he's going to possibly wipe your team, but you're going to want to bring in a lot of crowd control debuffs to be able to stop him from taking a turn. On the A2, the Beastly Bellow, his basic is 75% chance. Let's just go to the Ascended version. So the Ascended version of this A2, 75% chance of placing a provoke on all enemies for 1 turn, places a block debuffs and a 60% increased defense on this champion, so himself, for 2 turns. Removes all debuffs from this champion before placing the block debuffs and increased defense buffs if Manaya is on the team. Interesting. Okay. Of course, it won't be able to remove, CC debuffs because he won't be able to take a turn. So they changed it to has a 75% chance of placing provoke debuffs on all enemies for 1 turn. Also places a block debuff buff and 60% increased defense on himself for 2 turns. But if Manaya is on the same team, the provoke debuff placed by this champion cannot be resisted, which is annoying because right now in Soul Cross, he's really annoying in the Soul Cross of Curse City, and you can resist his provoke. That's how I was beating that stage. Now that you can't resist the provoke, it's going to be really difficult to manage this guy and actually CC him. So it's going to be super, super annoying because there's a double Coronar Manaya stage, and it's going to be one of the most annoying stages unless you have like godly heroes as well as gear. Of course, if you have now it's going to be more RNG basically, right? It's just more and more RNG stacking unless you have disgusting mythics or something like that, which most people do not have. So if Manaya is on the same team, also removes all debuffs from all allies, then places block debuffs and a 60% increased defense on all allies for 2 turns. Okay, so makes him even more filthy. I think that allows him to be utilized in Arena a lot more if somebody needs a damage dealer as well as a good secondary support option. I think he's going to be a lot stronger than he was before. So, and then that just makes him more difficult in PvE in general. That's what makes him busted, this part right here. Of course, if somebody goes first in Arena, they're going to beat you most likely anyways if you're in the high end of Arena. But for mid game, maybe late game, this guy's going to be busted. So definitely bring him out of the vault, especially if you're going to use him in Hydra as well as Chimera. He can place the provoke. I don't know if you can provoke Chimera, but you can provoke the Hydra. So having that provoke is huge. Having the block debuffs and increased defense if Manaya is on the same team is huge. So definitely try to pair them together if you can. I think that's pretty mental. That's pretty mental. I don't think that's bad. I think that's great. Obviously, is it great for the game in terms of PvE? I mean, it makes it more difficult content, but there's nothing you can do about it. They do that all the time. They did that with heroes like Cupidus as well, where they gave him a buff to his damage, and we figured it out eventually how to beat him. Of course, it's just more CC or try to one-shot him and take him out. So it's going to be a similar situation with Coronar. You're going to have to CC and focus on him as much as possible, get him out of the way, and then focus on the other heroes at hand. So the third ability, Battle Waltz, before attacks all enemies, places a decreased attack debuff on all enemies for 2 turns, places a 6% decreased defense debuff on targets under decreased attack. So now it goes to attacks all enemies, places a 50% decreased attack debuff and a 60% decreased defense debuff on all enemies for 2 turns. So it just places it. So he just places decreased attack and decreased defense now. Also pretty insane. That's going to be crazy for PvE, especially Hydra and Chimera. That's going to be insane. You could possibly bring him into Chimera now, and he'll actually put in some work in Chimera for you if you have him, as well as Hydra. But I'm thinking he's going to be even better in Hydra than Chimera. He does also have a damage multiplier increase here as well, and if Manaya is on the same team, he cannot be resisted. So essentially, I don't think you need to worry. Well, if you want to try to decrease the target's turn meter, you need accuracy. But for everything else, like the provoke, it can't be resisted. The decreased attack and decreased defense can't be resisted. So if you're just going to use this guy in PvE for Hydra or Chimera, you can't reduce the Chimera's turn meter or the Hydra's turn meter. So if you use him with Manaya, you don't have to build him with accuracy, and you can build him for full damage. And he's going to bring the positive buffs as well as the negative buffs on the enemy. So positive buffs for your team, negative buffs for the enemy team. So he's going to be a well-rounded champion now. And increase ally resistance in all battles by 80. He didn't have an aura before. That's pretty crazy. That's not bad at all. I mean, yeah, he's going to possibly be the hero that you want to soak up the damage from one of the heads for Hydra. I think he's going to be, if I can recall, let me just pop back in here. What's the Hydra head that you want to soak up the damage from? I think it's the Mischief, Head of Mischief, if I'm not mistaken. It's not Decay, not Torment. Head of Mischief, let's see. Attacks somebody, steals the buffs. Yeah, so Head of Mischief. So the Head of Mischief, you're going to want to make him the target if possible, if you want to go for a DPS Coronar, or you can make a support champion, of course, your target for the Mischief head, and then just put him in the lead with the increased resistance. And that's really helpful across the entire team. So actually a great buff for him. He's a Void Legendary, so it's to be expected. You know, not a lot of people are going to have him anyways. I mean, I'm sure there's a lot of end gamers who maybe pulled tons of voids or spenders that will have him, but your regular run-of-the-mill player that's free to play, probably not going to have this guy. But if you do get him, he is going to be very strong on your account. Even on my account, I've been playing for almost 6 years free to play. I don't have him, and he would actually make a positive impact on my account. So let's run over to the news really quickly here. All right, sorry for blinding y'all, but for the news really quickly, next Tuesday, which is tomorrow, August 5th, they're planning to launch a Awakening Boost event, giving you 2x chance to summon 5 and 6 star Perfect Souls from Mortal Soulstones and 6 star Perfect Souls from Immortal Soulstones. So that's the best time to pull your Immortal Soulstones, when you have a chance to get 6 star Perfect Souls. I saved up about 24 or 25 Immortal Soulstones myself on my free-to-play account, and this is kind of what I've been waiting for. So I might consider pulling my Immortals, or I might save for a better event, or like a guaranteed hero champion event in the future. Please note this boost applies to the Souls rank regardless of the rarity. So you could get a bunch of rares that are 6 star and not legendaries or mythicals or epics for that matter. But regardless, it is a chance to get 6 star heroes no matter what. Anyways, that was a quick one, y'all. Right now, just a quick update on my Crocad Throat Ripper. I am at 55 fragments, so we're doing okay. And it's fairly easy, honestly. And just to focus on Curse City, get your energy. Don't just willy-nilly get the energy. Just save the energy here, and then utilize the energy for the fusion. Go to Doom Tower, farm Doom Tower, and make sure you're getting the energy from Doom Tower. Utilize that. And then we also have energy from the clan shop that's going on right now. If you haven't pulled it, pull that. There's so many areas that you could get energy at this point in this game, as well as, you know, CVC. If you got lucky and won in the CVC from last week on Tuesday, then you could have gotten yourself an additional like 1,800 to 2,400 energy from that as well. So anyways, that's gonna be it for this one, y'all. Thank you so much for watching. Subscribe to the channel on your way out, and I'll see you on a video soon. Take care.